Growing up in Atlanta in the 1940s and 1950s, Susan Levine's visits to New York City relatives included being the star of an impromptu novelty show. Her cousin invited over friends and charged 25 cents a pop for them to listen to Levine's Southern accent. Even though they too grew up in Atlanta, Levine's two sons, born more than a quarter century after her, never spoke with the accent that is perhaps the most famous regional dialect in the United States, with its elongated vowels and soft R sounds. "My accent is non-existent," said Ira Levine, her oldest son. "People I work with and even in school, people didn't believe I was from Atlanta." The Southern accent, which has many variations, is fading in some areas of the South as people migrate to the region from other parts of the U.S. and around the world. A series of research papers published in December documented the diminishment of the regional accent among Black residents of the Atlanta area, white working-class people in the New Orleans area, and people who grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina. More than 5.8 million people have moved into the U.S. South so far in the 2000s and 20s, more than 4 times the combined total of the nation's 3 other regions. The classical white Southern accent in the Atlanta area and other parts of the urban South peaked with baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964, and then dropped off with Gen Xers born between 1965 and 1980 and subsequent generations, in large part because of the tremendous in-migration of people in the second half of the 20th century. It has been replaced among the youngest speakers in the 21st century with a dialect that was first noticed in California in the late 1980s, according to recent research from linguists at the University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Brigham Young University. That dialect, which also was detected in Canada, has become a pan-regional accent as it has spread to other parts of the U.S., including Boston, New York, and Michigan, contributing to the diminishment of their regional accents. The same researchers previously studied Southern accents among white people in Atlanta. Michelle and Richard Beck, Gen Xers living in the Atlanta area, have Southern accents, but it's missing in their 2 sons born in 1998 and 2001. "I think they speak clearer than I do." Richard Beck, a law enforcement officer, said of his sons, "They don't sound as country as I do when it comes to the Southern drawl. It may instead reflect a change in how younger speakers view Southern identity, with a regional accent not as closely associated with what is considered Southern as in previous generations, and linguistic boundaries less important than other factors," she said.